Hello there, guys. Fancy seeing you here. So since my last video, quite a few things have happened in the gaming world, and of course in the Nintendo world. A couple of really big games have released, and over this past weekend, I think most of us were playing at least one of two huge games, that being Spider-Man 2 on the PlayStation 5 and Super Mario Bros. Wonder on the Nintendo Switch. Now, I am currently spending my time playing both games. I am literally battling with my time back and forth between each title, and I have to tell you that they are both spectacular, and clearly we're going to be focusing on Super Mario Bros. Wonder in this video and how it may also serve as an excellent stopgap title before Nintendo reveals the Switch 2. But I do just want to say, Spider-Man 2 is also excellent. I am obsessed with that game, just as obsessed with Spider-Man 2 as I am with Super Mario Bros. Wonder. So for me, it's just been a first world problem kind of weekend where I've got these two great games and limited time, and how am I spending my time between these two games? They're both so fun and so excellent. And so it's a great problem to have. I literally keep bouncing back and forth between playing each game. I love it. But like I said, we're going to talk about Super Mario Bros. Wonder because it's the biggest, hottest, newest Nintendo game, right? It's essentially their flagship holiday title in a year that's been a really strong Switch year, and it's been a really strong year for the whole industry and for all platforms. And Mario Wonder serves as, okay, we have we have Super Mario RPG coming in November, but even though that's going to probably be a great game and it's going to sell pretty well, it is a remake of an older game, where Super Mario Bros. Wonder is a brand new game, and it's the first new 2D Mario experience since the advent of the new Super Mario Bros. Games, right, which we all know. So Mario Bros. Wonder represents the first kind of evolution or step forward past the new Super Mario Bros. Formula, and so to release it as their flagship title is very exciting. And so before I jump into how it relates to like their business model and the next gen and all that stuff, I do just want to talk about the game and why I think it's so great. So Mario Bros. Wonder, I was immediately excited for when we first saw it revealed back in June. By the way, we have to take a minute and recognize and appreciate that Nintendo is so good at doing this. I even tweeted about it as well. They announced the game in June, and only 4 months later, we're playing the game. I mean, they do that stuff so often. It was the same thing with Metroid Dread. It's the same with a lot of their biggest games. They've always been excellent at that. So when the game was first revealed back in June at the Nintendo Direct, I was certainly excited. I'm an old school guy and an old school gamer, so I love excellent 2D gameplay experiences. Of course, I was raised and weaned on 2D Mario and 2D Sonic the Hedgehog and 2D Metroid. By the way, back as, being a kid in the 80s and 90s, I love those games. I am overall a bigger fan of 3D Mario games than 2D Mario games, but I still love a good 2D Mario experience. I got very sick and tired of the new Super Mario Bros. Games, just like a lot of us did. Those games never did anything inherently wrong or bad, but the formula, in my opinion, really wasn't worthy of like the 4 or 5 different titles they released over the span of like 15 years. It was definitely overkill to me. And so seeing Super Mario Bros. Wonder announced, I was like, great, this is going to be a new 2D Mario game. I know it's going to be fun because Mario is always fun. But I wasn't like over the moon about it. I just was expecting a smaller tier, really fun Mario game to be their flagship title because Nintendo is probably slowing down before revealing the Switch 2 soon. However, now that I've spent the past 3 or 4 days playing the game, I have to say it has exceeded my expectations. It is fabulous. Just to touch on a couple of high notes, the game looks fantastic. Even for being a 2D game, it just has so much life and vibrancy to it. It is gorgeous. The music is fantastic. The gameplay, the feeling of the controls, the weight of the characters, and even the difference in the weight of characters between the regular characters and when you're the elephant version of the characters, which is so fun, by the way. More fun than I expected it to be. Even that weight feels different. And so the controls, just like with any Mario game, Nintendo are the masters of platforming. The controls are fantastic. And I have to say, the creativity, it's just bursting at the seams with creativity. The same way I think Mario Galaxy succeeded in being an idea factory, I think Mario Bros. Wonder is the 2D equivalent of Galaxy in that respect. It is an idea factory. There is so much cool stuff going on. The Wonder Flower mechanic was something I was excited for, but a little bit nervous about, simply because I didn't really know how much variety they could add to the gameplay by just picking up a flower and changing like what the world looked like and a couple of gameplay mechanics. But I have to admit that for the most part, they've surprised me and really delivered on the idea, because pretty much every wonder flower in every level is unique. And there's so many levels to this game. I'm currently on World 4. There are so many levels, and each one has something different that happens when you get that damned wonder flower. And so they've really impressed me with that. I think the only negatives, I would say, one of them is minor, which is the world map. While it's really cool looking and I love the graphics and I like navigating an interesting map, and there's a lot of variety to the sections, it's a little bit cluttered and cumbersome and not well designed from a navigational standpoint. Just my opinion. It's not a huge hurdle, but it's just kind of annoying, despite how beautiful the world map looks. And I think the only other thing is, I kind of wish the levels were longer, because the conceit of a 2D Mario game with the world map is you're navigating a world map, you go to a level, you select the level, and you go into the level till you beat it, and then you go back to the world map. And to me, I find it less fun to be in a world map and then go into a level and only be in that level for like 3 minutes before I'm shot back to the world map to go find something else. But that stuff's neither here nor there. At the end of the day, the game is fabulous. I mean, it has like a 93 on Metacritic. For me, it's definitely in that 9.0 or above. Like, I mean, I can't imagine it getting worse and dropping below that on my own personal scale. So I don't know if I'd give it as high as a 93 or a 9.3 just yet, but it's bare minimum a 9.0. So it's a masterpiece. It's one of the best video games I've played all year. And in a stacked year where I've had great things to play on my Switch, PS5, and Xbox Series X, I mean, that's saying a lot. The game is really fantastic. And so, moving on from just my feelings on it as a great Mario game, how does it fit into Nintendo's business plan? And like I said, because it's so easy for me to do this, how can I squeeze a Switch 2 conversation into this whole Mario Wonder topic? Well, it's, to me, how Mario Wonder's release does, kind of like I alluded to at the beginning of the video, serve as a bit of a stopgap, but a very high-quality stopgap between the current Switch and the inevitable reveal of a Switch 2. So naturally, here near the end of October, with only 2 months to go before the year is over, we continually revisit the idea of if Nintendo still has time to reveal the next generation hardware before the end of 2023. Now, I have to be real, as somebody who has been predicting since the year 2020, I've been predicting that we would see the Nintendo Switch 2 or the next-gen thing before the end of 2023. Very well documented. I was predicting 3 years ago that we would see it in either 2022 or 2023. And with only 2 months to go, there are a lot of people still clinging on to hope that we're going to see it before the end of the year. And admittedly, it is still possible. And obviously, I would love for that to happen. A, because I want it as a fan, and B, because I have been predicting it. But I gotta just be honest about what I'm seeing happen, you guys. I don't know that I see them revealing the Switch 2 before the year is over. So we have to factor into this conversation just the fact that I think my longtime prediction is wrong. We will not probably see the Switch 2 or the next-gen hardware before 2023 is over. Now, for me, that's okay, because like I said, it's been a fantastic year. I've played a ton of games on my Switch and my PS5, and I love Starfield on my Xbox Series X, so I'm not struggling with a dearth of video games to play. I don't think any of us have been struggling with something to play in 2023. So I don't mind being wrong for the past 3 years with my prediction. I don't mind waiting a little bit longer to see the Switch 2. So I'm ready to just acknowledge and throw in the towel and say, yeah, I don't think we're going to see it happen this year. And so because of that, that's where Super Mario Bros. Wonder comes into play. And, you know, to a lesser degree, also Mario RPG. We can't forget that that's another higher profile game releasing in a couple of weeks as well. But to me, Mario Bros. Wonder is the game clearly carrying Nintendo's holiday. And it's carrying the holiday in the 7th year of the Switch. After a fantastic 2023, we got a new Zelda game, we got a new Pikmin game, we got a new Fire Emblem game. I mean, it's the Advance Wars games also came out, those reboot games, which they're not my cup of tea, but I know that people were very excited for those. Nintendo's had a great year. I mean, Tears of the Kingdom alone, you guys, the best game I've played this year that isn't Metroid Prime Remastered. Nintendo's been killing it. And so in the 7th year, they're still releasing all these great games, yet we're also waiting on pins and needles for the next-gen console. I think we're going to see it revealed in the first couple of months of 2024. That's just my current prediction. It's my new prediction. It's not moving the goalpost because I'm acknowledging my prediction for the past few years is wrong. Now I'm just letting new information feed my new prediction. And so if we're not going to see it this year like I thought, I think we're going to see it next year, right? So if the next-gen reveal is looming on the horizon in the next, 3 to 6 months, they needed to release something to be some kind of holiday seller, both to try and move Nintendo Switch units here at the end of their year, as well as to have some software to buy. And I think Mario Bros. Wonder, being so much better than most of us thought a 2D Mario game could be in 2023, it is the perfect title to, in my opinion, fill that gap. Now, of course, I'm only making predictions here. I could be wrong, and maybe Nintendo does decide to drop another huge Switch-only massive title before the Switch 2 is revealed. Maybe Metroid Prime 4 becomes that title, man. Anything is possible, although I don't see that happening. And I'm not trying to discount the releases of games like Princess Peach Showtime and Luigi's Mansion 2 HD, which is another remaster, or a remake, or it's a remaster, basically. Or even like the Mario vs. Donkey Kong. I'm not trying to ignore those games and what they are, but they're not on the same level of a new Mario game, even a new 2D Mario game. And so to me, I see, because I also think a new 3D Mario game would have been too high profile of a game to release as a stopgap title, right? To me, that's the game you save for the release of your next console. Metroid Prime 4 and the next 3D Mario game, to me, are the perfect titles to be huge games you release in the first year of your Switch 2, and one or both of them even for a launch day title. And so that's where the smaller scale 2D Mario game, Mario Bros. Wonder, but also making it excellent, is that perfect title to bridge the current Switch with the next Switch. And so it just feeds into my general thinking that, yes, my longtime prediction was wrong. We're not seeing Switch 2 this year. We're going to probably see it next year. And so releasing Mario Bros. Wonder now was the perfect game to release at the perfect time to say, we're winding down the Switch, sales are slowing down, huge game releases after Tears of the Kingdom are going to slow down. Here's one last very big game with Mario Bros. Wonder before we give you the Switch 2 and start showing you new 3D Mario games and new Metroid games and new Mario Kart games and maybe the next Animal Crossing and all these other things. Zelda's obviously going to be a few years away, but they can start prepping us for the return of other franchises, Donkey Kong or Star Fox maybe, with the Switch 2. So maybe I'm reading too much into it, but when I look at everything surrounding the release of Mario Bros. Wonder and the extremely high quality, that's what I take away from it. So I'll be curious if this makes sense with you guys, if any of you agree, obviously what your opinion on Mario Bros. Wonder is, but just how you feel the game could fit into this whole next-gen scheme, the way I'm kind of proposing it to you guys in this conversation, So that's just kind of my read on it. It's a great game. I think it's a stopgap game before the Switch 2 is revealed, hopefully in the next couple of months. And so that's what I think about it. Tell me what you guys think about it, and that's about it.